let's get this show started.
Okay.
So, as I said, I'll be going first, and this is simply what I call Darkness the Curse fanfiction, written by yours truly, Juke Denton. So, here we go. It was a quiet night when Darkness was playing his nightly play of League of Legends when he heard a noise coming from outside his playroom. He went to the living room and noticed that the lights blew out and that there was no tea in the kitchen. And before I forget, whenever someone's reading a fanfiction, please don't interrupt them unless they pause and allow for commentary.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So, just thought that's something I should have mentioned earlier, but slipped my mind.
Sure, thank you.
Alright. Darkness! A voice cut through the room at sudden alarm that would make shadows hide in fear. Darkness, arming himself with his legendary keyblade and Organization 13 trench coat, got into a defensive position and readied himself of what was to come. Just then, the entire house shook in violence like a tidal wave crashing on a beachhead. When the house quit shaking, Darkness saw a ray of light shining through a crack in a window and looked outside to see a fierce battle taking place in a nearby field. 3 warriors were battling against dark forces belonging to the Imperial warlord Shinigami. Darkness growled in anger as he made his way to the battle to slaughter as many troops as he could, for his hatred of Shinigami was without compare. Eventually, Darkness made it to the battle and helped the other 3 push back the evil forces into defeat. After the battle, the 3 warriors put away their weapons, noticed Darkness's attire, and bowed in respect. Darkness, noticing this, simply raised his hand and softly said, "Rise." The warriors introduced themselves before their newfound leader. "I am Striker, the wielder of magic," said the first warrior. "I am Light's Music, the master sword soldier," said the second warrior. And keep in mind, Light's Music is a girl, so I had to do a girl impression.
Fair enough.
Okay, and I am Juke Denton, the fierce beast summoner, said the third warrior. "Welcome to our humble land," they all said in unison. "Your salutations are commendable, but I'm sure we have a lot to discuss in your kingdom. Lead the way," said Darkness in commanding yet respecting tone. The 3 nodded and made their way to the kingdom of Gemstone. After arriving at the kingdom, they made their way to the king's throne room and introduced Darkness to the ruler of Gemstone. "Your Majesty," said Lights, "we found someone who might be able to help us in our cause against Shinigami." Darkness bowed before the king, but the king nodded and said, "There's no need for you to bow before me. It should be that I should bow before you, Great One." Darkness just stared at what was going on. "I am in charge of helping to run this kingdom smoothly. I am King Iglos Kaldham Eerit, but you may just refer to me as Ike. Come, let us celebrate your arrival at my sweet tea swimming pool with Cheez-Its as the main course."
The f*** is this?
Wow.
Language!
Sorry.
Oh, remember?
Sorry.
The Holy Mother.
Is this bad on purpose?
Yes, it is. This was kind of a role play me and a couple other people did during one of Darkness the Curse's live streams. So I thought I'd translate it into a fanfic.
Shinigami. Is that like Shinigami from Death Note?
I have no idea. He was just a random person we were role playing with.
Well, Shinigami is the name of the death spirit from Death Note. It sounds like your guy just took the name, just put in A at the end instead of I.
Could be,
Well,
but I don't know.
It was no see. It did not have right food.
Oh boy.
Dog in the background.
So like as I was saying, like Shinigami is actually a true name of a Japanese god of death.
So it's actually fitting. Alright. The 5 were enjoying their time when there was suddenly a loud boom in the distance. The king and warriors looked to see a massive fire in the distance and made their way to the site to douse the flames away. Just then the 5 were surrounded by evil forces led by the evil Shinigami. "So this is the newly arrived warrior that everyone speaks of, eh?" Shinigami said with disgust. "Know me well as Shinigami, your worst nightmare, the true ruler of this land, the very bane of those who oppose me, for I am bereavement. If you're as powerful as you claim to be, then let's settle this fight right here. You and your army against us 5, said Darkness without any hint of fear. Very well. I shall take great pleasure in sending the 5 of you pathetic fools to hell, and I shall become the next king of Gemstone, shouted Shinigami with pride. The 5 warriors rated themselves for the fierce battle with Darkness, marching forward to take on the evil warlord with his Keyblade of Righteousness. Without warning, both sides began to clash against each other in an epic climax. It's getting really hard to say this non-stop. I should probably take more frequent breaks.
Good call.
Alright, let's see here. Ozstriker used his magic to summon a massive superstorm to electrocute the horde of enemies before him. Light's music sliced and diced through the army like a chef cutting up onions and vegetables, and Juke Denton summoned a massive Cerberus to munch on the opposing side. King Ike used the power of Cheez-Its to stuff his adversaries with cheesy goodness until they suffocated to death. Darkness, using his Keyblade, battled against Shinigami and his Lockblade. For a while, it seemed like the 5 warriors were gaining the upper hand, and Darkness rubbed Shinigami's approaching humiliating defeat by saying, "It seems that your armies have crumbled, and you have nothing else to help you. You might as well surrender yourself and save us the trouble of tearing and slicing you apart." "Don't get too overconfident," said Shinigami with a smirk on his face, as he aimed his Lockblade at Ike and fired a lethal projectile at the king, bringing him to his knees. "I always hated Cheez-Its," Shinigami said with a nasty tone. Darkness, Awe, Lights, and Juke all looked and turned and stared in horror as the king was laying on the ground, clinging to dear life. All 4 warriors gathered around the nearly dead king and heard the king's final request. "Destroy the warlord, defend the kingdom of Gemstone, and protect my Cheez-Its from extinction!"
Lord knows what we'd do if we didn't have our Cheez-Its.
Yes, God help
Can I
us
just
if all
ask
our...
what Cheez-Its are?
Cheez-Its are those little crackers that are salty and made up of fried cheese.
Oh, I remember having the. I still snack on those to this day.
Yeah, they're pretty much American delicacies.
Oh.
All right.
That's probably why I don't know what they are then.
I'm actually going to mute my mic right now. The puppy is being cranky.
Okay.
Wow, there is a lot of drama going on in your neck of the woods.
All right.
Just like the puppy, she's a loud barker and she's a very hyperactive puppy.
Okay, so let's see here. With one final breath, the noble King Ike was laid to rest. Shinigami simply laughed maniacally at the scene that unfurled before everyone. Darkness looked back at Shinigami with a furious look in his eye. "No one ever takes the life of a king, especially one who loves Cheez-Its and lives to see tomorrow!" Darkness then began to deploy a barrage of slash attacks at the warlord without mercy. Shinigami was able to block all of the incoming strikes, but at the last moment, Darkness was able to land a blow, and one that struck so hard that the warlord's Lockblade broke into several pieces like broken glass. Darkness then slashed Shinigami hard through the chest, causing Shinigami to cry out in agony and fall onto his knees while breathing at a heavy rate. Juke Denton then summoned the most powerful and fearsome beast to annihilate Shinigami, Molester Moon.
Oh, God.
Mr. Moon? What?
Oh my God.
What kind of story is this?
Hey, Juke, does he say, "I'm gonna molest you"?
Just let me finish and you'll find out.
Okay.
Alright. Shinigami looked in dismay at the creature and begged Darkness to finish him off any other way, but Darkness simply turned a blind eye and said, "For one who slays a ruler who loves Cheez-Its, no punishment is greater than this. Sick him, Moon." Molester Moon then went over and started to eradicate Shinigami off the face of the land. "Ah!" cried out Shinigami as he was horribly molested by the celestial creature. Soon afterwards, there was nothing but silence over the now dead-filled battlefield. The heroes had won, and evil was no more. But while peace had been brought back to the land, the 4 warriors looked over the now deceased King Ike. "Good night, King Ike," Darkness said in a sorrowful tone. We won't forget your nobility towards our people, Juke added as well. May your death not be in vain, for the peace we have brought be prosperous for ages, Light said in a sincere nature. And the legacy of Cheez-Its will live on evermore, Ah said with factual truth. After a few more moments of silence, Darkness began to make his way back to his house to head home. Wait, Ah shouted, who will take responsibility of ruling over Gemstone? You three have the power, wisdom, and capacity to be worthy of being the successors of Ike. Darkness then gave Ah a medallion in the shape of a key. Should anyone ask who saved the land, tell them that it was the 5 great warriors led by Darkness, the bane of warlords. I must return home now. I have been away for too long now. Darkness then gave the 3 warriors a final salute and made his way back to his house. After reaching the house and closing the front door, the entire establishment began to violently shake again, and it became dark once again. After about a minute, the house stopped shaking and everything was back to normal. Darkness put away his Keyblade and Organization 13 coat and went to the local convenience store and bought the best quality tea and Cheez-Its money could buy. Darkness celebrated his victory by streaming League of Legends on Twitch, drinking tea, snacking on Cheez-Its, and telling everyone in the chat about his epic adventure. After the stream, he chronicled his tale in a journal and sold it to Paramount Pictures for $30,000, but would later regret the decision as the film would be directed by Michael Bay. But that is a story for another time.
Oh my.
Wow.
Juke, bravo. Bravo.
Oh,
On writing a great parody fanfic.
Yeah, there are bits and pieces where
So-
I misspelled some of the words on purpose because
Yeah,
that's kind of, it's a self-parody that I was going for to begin with. So, but I'm
Uh,
glad you guys liked it.